However, today I am talking about the ferrometallicum. Among the so many other, so many other drugs, the ferromate is very important medicine for the purpose of the anemia. Among so many groups are there, the ferrum group, calcium group, carbon group, and so on. So ferrum iron is an element. It is prepared by trijuration of the pure metallic iron. Iron is an ingredient of the blood. So this iron itself is useful in case of the growth, for the purpose of the hemoglobin. It is a component of the hemoglobin at the same time of the blood, and it causes deficiency, causes the anemia. So homeopathic provings of ferrum has brought into a similar state. The ferrum is usually obtained in the soil or in the ores or the mines. So ferric acid, ferrous, is very important for this preparation of the medicine. However, the ferrum it acts chiefly on the blood, producing more rapid oxidation with the rise of the temperature. At first, increases of red color or red corpuscles, but subsequently a diminution of red corpuscles and profound anemia. It is useful especially for the increasing the RBC, at the same time useful in case of for the anemic condition. And it is the medicine which is proved by the Dr. Honeyman, and pharmacy, in case of the pharmacy, it is obtained by reduction of the ferric oxide by hydrogen gas. It is a very high temperature and wholly dissolved in dilute hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid with a solution of the hydrogen gas. Preparation is under the class of the 7. It is prepared therapeutically. The anemia, it is the important medicine for the constipation, cough, diarrhea, headache, hemorrhage, menstrual disorders, nausea, vertigo, and vomiting. So menstrual disorder, nausea, vertigo, vomiting, and so many diseases. Even there is the anemic condition, even case of the nosebleed and so on. So now if we see the causation of the causation, we will find it when the ferrum metallicum is to be used. The best factor is the loss of the vital fluid. So ferrum metallicum used in case of the loss of the vital, especially on the blood. There are so many drugs out there which is used for the loss of vital fluid. So according to the sweat, diarrhea, even the sperm, there is the even some other menses. These are also discharges or the vital fluid. But especially here, if there is a huge blood loss, we can think of the ferrum metallicum in that sense, or any consequence effect after effects of the bleeding or the losing of the vital fluid. Even after abuse of the quinine, mostly there is a changes occurs inside the RBC and the hemoglobin. And not only that, that quinine using may lose the characters of the hemoglobin and so on, and sometimes changing of the paroxysm of fevers, euphotium perforatum, epicac, and the pulsatile. Abuse of quinine is also another factor. Pain in the teeth. Abuse of quinine, in that case, we can think of the ferromate and the pain of the teeth. So, pulsatile is also one of the medicine. Nitric is also one of the medicine for the purposes. There is the abuse of the quinine. So many drugs are there. Nowadays, quinine is not used, but If there is any subsequent side effect of the quinine, we can think of the unicamantana, calcarea, carbohydrate, verampor, natramine, and pulsatilla. But pulsatilla is also one of the medicine which is to be used in case of the chronic use of the iron tablets. So, if those who are using the iron tablets constantly during the pregnancy, we must think of the Ferramate as also the pulsatilla. There is the suppressed intermittence, impaired hearing, calcarea, and the China self. So impaired hearing, calcarea, and China self. Constitutions, appearance, specially adapted to women who are pale, weak, delicate, and clarity, we must have a fiery red face. So whenever we see a patient from the first appearance, or whenever looking the patient at a glance from head to foot, we may get so many clues by observing the patient from a distance without asking anything else. If our ideas is good and having some clinical experience, it is very easy to find out the characteristic symptoms of the drugs or the disease conditions. So what happened? The specially adapted to the women who are very pale, females, pale, weak, very delicate, and chlorotic, yet have a fiery red face. A logo paleness, such kind of fiery red face are easily excited for them. Temperament, sanguine temperament, easily vexed, and least contradiction excites the patient. Least contradiction excites the patient. Is a Ferramate by sanguine temperament. This patient usually producing the excitement. Okay. Next number. Again, if we see the diathesis, that is the hemorrhagic diathesis. So in case of that, it is a good medicine for the cases of the hemorrhagic diathesis. Miasm, Shora is the background. Mental generals, that is the if we see the mental generals, that is the confusion of mind. Cannot collect the thoughts because of lack of the oxygen, lack of the hemoglobin, and lack of the iron, and so on. So what is happening? Confusion. Cannot collect the thoughts. Prone to weep or laugh immediately, immoderately. So hamisha hasne weep or laugh immoderately with a choking sensation in the throat is there. It's called choking sensation. So the patients are mostly taciturn and depression after the menses, as because there is excessive blood loss, so they become depressed. Anxiety as after a crime. So after a crime, they become anxious. Moderate mental exertions improves many symptoms. Moderate mental exertions improves many symptoms. Isliye mental symptoms improves. Many symptoms are there. So mental exertions improves the many symptoms. Slightest noise is unbearable. Slightest noise is unbearable. Even the crackling of the paper. इसलिए पेशेंट क्या करते हैं, स्लाइटेस्ट नॉइज में भी अनबियरेबल हो जाता है. इवन द क्रैकलिंग ऑफ द पेपर में जो क्रैकलिंग आवाज आती है, इवन व्हाइल चेंजिंग द पेपर, द स्लाइटेस्ट नॉइज that they may become disturbed, or they may becomes feeling the faint, or they cannot tolerate. Some other medicines are there, those who cannot tolerate the even the slightest noise of the paper whenever changing it. The physical generals, relation to the heat and cold, mostly the patient is the hot patient, okay, and aversion to acids, okay, aversion to acids. So aversion to acids, aversion to beers, okay, aversion to the foods, and aversion to solid food. So even aversion to the eggs, hot food, and the meat. So staphylococcus is also one of the medicine. Where there is the solid food is there, aggravation from aversion to solid food. Every symptoms are desires, bread and butter, and warm food. Is bread and butter and warm food. Sweat every alternate morning. So sweating has an importance. Okay, the sweating, aggravation in the morning, antium crude. Okay, every alternate morning sweating, antium crude is there. Okay, lasting until noon. Lasting until noon. Even sweating during the sleep. Usually so during the sleep sweating, antium crude, pulsatilla, chelidonium, china, these are the medicines. Sweating during sleep, Calcutta carb is also there. Another medicine is the Cilicia is there. Okay, Baryta carb is there. Swelling, sweating during that period. During anxiety, sweating, cold perspiration, and during convulsions from coughing, uncovered fat. इसलिए और क्या देखेंगे? Sweat with offensive odor. Sweat with offensive odor, staining yellow. Sweat with offensive odor, staining yellow. Carbon anomalies, selenium, graphitis, lachesis, mercury. Symptoms aggravate while sweating. हमारा और मेडिसिन है mercury group, aggravation of sweating. From coughing, okay, खांसी होने के टाइम sweating, arsenical balm, hibarsal, phosphorus, sambuca, sepia. Even during slight exertion, that is the sweating. हमारा पास मेडिसिन कौन है? Calcutta carb, that is the china, graphitis and so on, lachesis, natrum carb, phosphorus, sorinum, rastox, sepia sulfur. Sleep, pain forces him to get up out of bed at night and walk about slowly. So, pain forces him to get up out of bed and night and walk about slowly. Can lying down on back. Restless sleep. The patient's sleep is in restless. Dreams, anxious dreams. Battles, confused, feeling of water, frights, and so on. इसलिए the patient का need भी उतना बढ़ाते and proves that when they bed at night, dreams anxious, battle, confused, falling of water, frights, and so on. From frights, dreams, natamur, nananculasal, stana metallicum, appetite, canine hunger, alternate with loss of appetite. Canine hunger, alternate, loss of appetite. Barberis, कौन medicine? Hunger alternate with loss of appetite. Barberis, Calcutta carb, phosphorus, iodium, and thuja. So, canine hunger alternates with loss of appetite. Okay, canine hunger alternates with loss of appetite. Barberis, Calcutta carb, phosphorus, iodium, and thuja. Thirst, unquenchable thirst. Thirst is unquenchable. General modalities, the aggravation at night, especially while sitting still. Aggravation at night and especially while sitting still. Ambulation, walking about slowly. So, इसके सबसे बड़ी बात होती है. Anxious dreams करना भी है, anxious and so on. Plus, sided, left-sided medicine. It also affects the right sided of the eyes. Hypochondroitism, upper extremity, lower extremity, and so on. Actually, whenever we'll think about the drugs, we must consider some other conditions. And whenever the aggravation is there, whether it is general aggravation or particular phenamate is a very important medicine for the cases of the sweating, not only sweating, even the hurried stool is while eating. Okay, hurried stool while eating is a very important symptoms of the drugs. Guiding symptoms is the irritability, slight noise like cracking of papers drives him to despair. Usually sanguine temperament or phenamate is very important. So, irritability, the patient is very irritable. ये जो sanguine temperament, plethoric temperament, temperament, they are having aggravations by slightest noise, take it like crackling of the papers, drives him to despair. ये लोग इतने irritable हैं, इतनी भयंकर हैं, इतनी ये करते जो so that they have been, it seems like they are पागल बन जाते हैं. So SRM is also another medicine where there is the irritability, slight noise, crackling papers, slightest noise makes them sick and or maddening. SRM भी है, Taraxacum बोल के एक medicine है, but mostly SRM Europeum is a very important medicine for this case. Women who are weak, the delicate, chlorotic, it have a fiery red face. इसलिए फीमेल का अगर चेहरा देखना है तो क्या देखेंगे? who are very weak, delicate, chlorotic, it have a fiery red face. चेहरा लाल हो जाते हैं. Extreme paleness of the face become extreme paleness. Lips and mucous membrane which becomes red and flushed on least pain. Extreme paleness. Lips and mucous membrane which becomes red and flushed on least pain. Emotion or exertions, okay, blushings and so on. इसलिए कभी कभी लगता है चेहरे में ऐसे लगता है hot flashings हो, इसलिए flushed on least pain, emotions and exertions, blushings. इसलिए कभी कभी red hot feeling होते हैं. Red parts becomes white. Red parts becomes white. Face, lips, tongue and mucous membranes of the mouth. So it becomes white. Okay. So इसलिए face, lips, tongues and conjunctiva, they becomes white and so on. Vertigo with balancing sensations. Then what is vertigo? Because there is not a much amount of the that iron or so as a result of it there is the red parts and vertigo due to the lack of the oxygen and so on. Even sometimes the females they are mostly having the menses as a menorrhagia, dysmenorrhea. So Ferramate may be a useful remedy for the cases because of the loss of vital fluid. This type of problem may appear. So flowing of water on the seeing flowing water, welling sensation, argentum, metaglam, bromium, ferrum, sulfur, when walking over water, as when crossing a bridge, then that may be the vertigo. Even looking to the water, that may even the sound or descending type of vertigo. So borax and salicula. So borax में क्या देखें? The vertigo while descending. Okay. Headache, hammering type of headache, beating type of headache, pulsating type of headache must have to lie down with aversion to eating or drinking. इसलिए headache जब होते हैं the patient को अच्छा नहीं होते. Pulsating type of bleeding type of hammering type must have to lie down with aversion to eating or drinking. Headache for 2, 3 or 4 days every 2 or 3 weeks. So severe headache due to this type of conditions of 2 to 3, 4 days every 2 or 3 weeks and so on. So these characters is beating, pulsating pains and must lie down. Menses too early, too profuse, too long lasting. Too early, too profuse, too long lasting with fiery red face. Okay. इसलिए जब भी कोई चीज होते हैं the headache साथ menses, okay, हमारी मीटिंग में पहले बोला, इसलिए menses is very too early, too profuse, too long lasting and with fiery red face, singing in the ears and intermiss 2 or 3 days and then return. Okay, and flow pale, watery, debilitating. Okay, flow pale, watery and debilitating. इसलिए मेंसेस जब होते हैं तो क्या होते हैं? The face becomes very red, face pale, red face, shining in the ears. कभी-कभी ears are becomes singing as if shining, intermiss 2 to 3 days and then return. Okay, flow pale, watery and debilitating. Menses हो गए. Then hemorrhagic diathesis. Hemorrhagic diathesis with blood bright red, coagulates easily. Ferrum first, ipecac and phosphorus easily coagulates. Hemorrhage, this is blood bright red, coagulates easily. Regurgitation of the food in mouthfuls is very important. कभी-कभी खाना खाने के बाद क्या देखा जाते हैं? Regurgitation of the mouths and mouthfuls, alumina, and without the nausea. Okay, कभी-कभी nausea नहीं है, फिर भी but there is the regurgitations. ठीक है? So there is the vomiting. There is the vomiting and there is the vomiting. There is the vomiting immediately after midnight. Vomiting immediately after midnight of ingesta of foods. Of ingesta of foods as soon as it is eaten. इसलिए रात में vomiting होते जैसे खाना खाते तुरंत इसको vomiting हो जाता है. Okay. So, however, now menses is also there is a as soon as it put in leaves stable suddenly and with efforts to vomit everything is eaten. Isliye can sit down and eat again. So immediately after midnight and ingesta as soon as the food is eaten. रात में खाना खाने के बाद उसका vomiting होता है. Leaves stable suddenly and with effort vomiting everything which is to be. So इसलिए जैसे खाना खाता vomiting चालू होते हैं वो सब कुछ बाहर निकालना पड़ता है. Or the drinks, even the and it can sit down and eat again. So इसलिए थोड़ा खाना खाने के बाद vomiting होने के बाद फिर वो खाना खाते हैं. Like उड़े में sulfuric acid है. Next is the diarrhea, stool with undigested food. Diarrhea, stool with undigested food. Particles at night. Okay, or while eating. Diarrhea with stool, food particles at night, or while eating or drinking. जैसे ही खाना खाते हैं तो उस टाइम डायरिया हो जाते हैं. Okay, parodontic. That the painless diarrhea. There is painless diarrhea. Okay, and up with a good appetite. Painless diarrhea with good appetite. इसलिए constipation. Next is the constipation. Constipation from intestinal anatomy. Constipation from intestinal anatomy. And ineffectual urging. Stool is hard, difficult, and followed by backache or cramping. Okay. Stool is difficult, followed by backache or cramping pain in the rectum. Prolapse recti in children. Okay. Prolapse recti in children and itching of the anus at night. So we will find it if this type of symptoms is present in case of the constipation and urging to stool, we have to think about it. Next number is the always feels better by walking about. The patient feels better walking about very slowly. Although weakness obliges the patient to lie down, feels better by always about the slowly, walking slowly. Although weakness obliges the patient to lie down. Okay. Next is the cough only in the daytime. Cough only in the daytime, euphoria, relieved by lying down. Cough only aggravates in the daytime and relieved by lying down. Ammunition by eating. The spongial is there. So, this is happening in every case at 1 minute. Next is the relationship. So relationship have some lots of importance. If we think the how to compare with the other drugs, this is very important to it. If the relationship other drugs we consider it, definitely it will be helpful to prescribe the correct medicines. Okay. Next is the in case of the diarrhea. Okay, the ferramate is very important medicine. Nobody usually consider the ferramate. Actually, what's happened? They always consider the Podophylla, Marxol, Nux vomica, arsenic, like these drugs. But ferromate has also importance in its own place. The stools contain undigested food particles. The stool contains undigested food particles desired for stool as soon as the patient attempts to eat. So, undigested food particles is very important. Desire for the stool as soon as patient attempts to eat. So, desire for stool as soon as the patient attempts to eat, and this is happening. In summer, complaints of the children. Summer में बच्चा का complaints होते हैं और क्या है ना, recurring quite regularly and periodically just at midnight. So summer season में so many drugs are there. Among them, this is one of the medicine. Recurring quite regularly and periodically just after midnight. रात में midnight के बाद next number. Or another medicine is the oleander. Lionteric stools. Oleander is a very important medicine for the cases. There are the lionteric stools occurring hours and after eating. Lionteric matlab? What do you mean by lionteric stools? खाना खाने के बाद तुरंत जो निकल जाते हैं, as it is in the same form, that is called the lionteric stools. Okay, so oleander is also one of the medicine. They are in the hours, occurring hours after the eating. Okay, next number China. China के क्या देखेंगे? The flatulency of entire abdomen. So okay, flatulence of entire abdomen, diarrhea at night, stools appear more after than during eating. Stools appears more after than during eating. So रात में ये सब देखने का मिलते हैं. तो arsenic album, diarrhea more after midnight. arsenic album में क्या देखेंगे? Diarrhea more after midnight. So देखो सिंकन में डायरिया दिन में नहीं होते, रात में ही होते हैं. दिस इज द पिक्युलरिटी. आर्सेनिक में 12 to 2, 12 to 2 AM PM is aggravation time. Diarrhea is more after than during eating. More after than during eating. After eating than during eating. This is the peculiarity. Nausea on seeing the food being cooked. Nausea when seeing the food which is cooked, when cooked. इसलिए nausea vomiting, seeing the food and cooked food देखने में. Diarrhea after taking rotten foods. Diarrhea after taking rotten foods. So this is the happening of A. Then question by uterine hemorrhages. Flow of right phenomenon, flow of bright red blood associated with a great deal of flushings. Bright red blood flushes of a face pale with ordinary earthy becomes bright red and flushed. Breathing becomes rapid and it stands between China and the peacock. So uterine hemorrhage, it stands between China and the peacock. Like synchronitis suited to very much prostrated cases. In persons naturally anemic, it is allied to ipecac in the bright red gushing flow of blood and the difficulty of the breathing. Ipecac is suited to hemorrhage, which comes with a gas and associated with the nausea, great soreness in the abdominal wall. This is happening here. Then varicose veins. So varicose vein can be phenomenon like sheet, shrinks from here, pulsatilla like cold, crave shear, headache, throbbing, so on. Aconite with fever and pulsating bursting pain, amyl nitrosan. Neuralgic headache with throbbing, neuralgic headache with throbbing, or great flushing of the face and dyspnea. Great flushing of the face with dyspnea, belladonna, especially in inflammation, camphor, throbbing in cerebellum with general coldness, throbbing with the cerebellum with coldness, camphor, China, pulsating, hammering, and worse in the temples as if skull would burst, templing, stabbing, worse, hammering, like that, as if it will burst. External head, extremely sensitive to slight touch. External head, extremely sensitive to slight touch. Crocus, pulsating sometimes in one side. Pain involving the eye, noticed especially during climatery. Ferrum, throbbing and beginning in the one temple and involving the whole head. So Feram में क्या करते हैं ना, throbbing and beginning in the temples and involving whole head, extremely sensitive to external impression, extremely sensitive to external impressions. इसलिए Feram का patient very sensitive होते हैं. Feram first, violent throbbing headache, better by the nosebleed. Violent throbbing headache, better by the nosebleed. Glonoin, rush of blood to head and strong pulsation, or throbbing with every beat of the heart. Throbbing with every beat of the heart. Mellitus, neuralgic headache, aggravation 4 p.m. with violent congestion, relieved by nosebleed. So, this is happening. Neuralgic headache, borax compare, borax, vertigo on descending. Borax, vertigo on descending, magnifier, cough, emulation by lying down, anacardium spongia, cough, emulated after eating, and arsenic chelidum, intermittent fevers. So, vertigo on descending, cough, emulation by lying down, anacardium spongia, cough, emulation after eating, and arsenic chelidum, intermittent fevers. Phosphorus, chloritic, selenium through the bad effects of the tea, graphitis, flashes of it, rash, ammunition from motion, oleander, lintric stool, causticum, paralysis. Causticum for paralysis. So, we can consider this medicine accordingly. Complementary to alumina and China. Alumina is a very important medicine for the cases of the constipation, and not only that, there is the tenesmus is also there. Alumina is a medicine for the female remedy and so on. China is also one of the medicine. China, there is an hemorrhage, bleeding, any part of the body as a result of there is a weakness, prostration and everything. Even there is a distension of the abdomen. There is a distension of the abdomen and whole abdomen becomes distended and like a drum. If we start to क्या बोलते हैं उसको बजाना, भजन ढोल का मापी बजते जाते हैं. नेक्स्ट नंबर देखो, एंटीडोटेड बाय आर्सेनिक, चाइना, हिपर सल्फर, इपिकाक एंड पल्सिटिला. दिस मेडिसिन हेल्प्स टू एंटीडोट इट. एंटीडोट्स कौन कौन मेडिसिन की एंटीडोट करते हैं? आर्सेनिक, चाइना, आयोडियम, mercury, hydrosan. Thermal cleavage, general modalities, cold weather aggravations. General modalities, cold weather aggravations. Cold aggravations, lacrimations, pressure on top of the head, heat, emulsion, pain in the arm, heat, aggravation, neuralgia, cold emulsion, headache, toothache, and asthma uncovering. And this medicine is proved by the Dr. Honeyman. So in general, if we see, then what will we find it? This medicine is very beneficial for the cases of the this problem. I mean that that is the headache, nausea, vomiting. Even this medicine helps a lot for the purpose of the dysmenorrhea, menorrhagia, and so on. Easily, what we will see here, usually all pains of the remedies are aggravated by motion also, excitement, warmth, and are relieved by cold and slow motion, and acts brilliantly in old people also. Okay. So administration अगर देखा गया तो mostly we can use the 30 potency and 200 potency. So, but in case of the Dr. Shushula in biochemistry system of medicine, he uses 3x, 6x, 12x like this. Competent to networking. This remedy below the 12x at 90. So it should not be used at night, because aggravation at night, some symptoms are there. So if there is a hyperemia, so that may cause disturbance, and it will hamper the sleep. Okay. Application to recommended by this honeyman. Even if you go through the Feramate, in case of the biochemic medicine, susulars show another potencies to be administered. Okay, so there is some similarity like the Feramate along with the aconite. Aconite mostly used in acute case, in hyperemic condition, in throbbing case, and it has more bounding pulse and characteristics, restlessness and anxiety. Okay, but in gelsimia is more soft, flowing pulse and more drowsiness and dullness. So these are the characteristics. In anemia, in anemic condition, compare also China, with which it may many symptoms in common. China is very main symptoms in common. It is interesting to note that the tree from which China is obtained is also found in ferruginous locality. ऐसे जगह में मिलते जहाँ पे locality ferruginous है. In this action upon the respiratory organs, it clearly stands between iron and phosphates, like the feram indicated in congestion and respiratory organs. Even when there is a considerable fever, especially oppression and dyspnea, which is extremely marked by feram and the phosphorus, it has a good relationship with the phosphorus also, because the phosphorus is an chilly patient aggravation and in the early in the morning, and for different conditions. Somewhere there is aphonia, somewhere there is a morning, and so on. But phosphorus is anti-hemorrhagic remedy. We must consider accordingly. So indication, general way, symptoms, and there is a phosphorus with drugs. Feram corresponds to many points of bryonia and belladonna and arnica montana. So if there is any hemorrhage, this medicine alone can be given after, along with the bryonia, belladonna, arnica montana, hypersulfur and mercurius, especially in acute inflammation of the middle ear, in the debility, loss of the strength and vitality of children. It is the remedy if the flesh be firm, complex and delicate, hair light and purely, but sulfur takes its place in dark complexion and children with flabby muscles, long and lank hair with moist skin. In the rheumatic affection of the aged, when the muscles are stiff and weakened with a disposition to painful cramps, compare strychnine. California wine is a pure correct and form the after feram is frequently indicated by the calimure. So in case of we see that there is a feram the feramate is there, after the resolution stage starts, we can think of the feramate, after feramate or feram the calimure, we can consider it. Okay, especially in case of the diphtheria pneumonia also, we can consider it. Even in case of the chlorotic conditions, in case of anemia, especially it is found in case of the females, even those who are the menorrhagia, dysmenorrhea, for them this medicine is mostly useful. And we can, along with this feramate, sometimes calciferol is a very important medicine. In hemorrhage, also we can think these drugs, even in case of the cut injury, some have feramate or feram. This medicine grinded and is to be applied to the affected part. Even it has been seen, the bleeding spot usually it stops the bleeding. Okay, so in case of the bronchopneumonia, along with this antimutant, we can consider the feramate and the feram. So feram is mostly useful in case of the inflammatory condition. Whenever there is any inflammatory conditions and there is the bleeding and this and so and so, inflammation, fever and hyperemia, we must consider the feram or the feramate. Even if there is any exudations in the lungs And so in that case also, ferramphos, ferramate, or the antidote, this type of medicine is to be considered. Even in the ear affection of the external deafness, Calendula is also one of the medicine, and the high dustish we can consider. So ferramphos in general has lots of importance for the purpose of the inflammatory condition, and ferramate also, which I told previously. So we must consider the guiding symptoms. Again I am repeating on behalf of it, that is, it will be helpful for memorizing the condition. Very irritable, slight noise crackling of the papers drives him to despair. Women who are very weak, delicate, and chlorotic children, chlorotic, and have a very red fiery rays, extreme paleness of the face, lips and the mucous membranes, which becomes red and flushed on the least pain, emotion and exertions, blushings, amyloidosis and coca is there, red parts become white, even the face, lips, tongues, mucous membrane of the mouth, vertigo with balancing sensation, vertigo as if on water, seeing flowing of water, okay, when walking over the water as crossing a bridge, on descending, and so on. Headache, hammering, beating, pulsating pain, must lie down with aversion to eating or drinking, and headache for 2, 3 or 4 days every 2 or 3 weeks. This is the periodical headache. Menses too early, too profuse, too long lasting with fiery red face, singing in the ears, intervenes 2 or 3 days and then return, flow pale, watery and debilitating, hemorrhagic diathesis, blood red and coagulates easily, ferramphos, ipecac and phosphorus. Regurgitation of the food in mouthfuls without nausea, vomiting immediate after midnight or ingest as soon as the food is eaten, leaves timetable suddenly and with effort, vomits everything is eaten and can sit down and eat again. Lycopodium, sulfuric acid is also there. Diarrhea, stool with undigested food particles at night, day and night, especially night while eating or drinking, painless diarrhea with good appetite. Constipation from intestinal anatomy, ineffectual urging, stool hard, difficult, followed by backache or cramping pain in the rectum, prolapse recta in the children, itching of the anus is night, always feels better by walking about the slowly. Although weakness obliges the patient to lie down and cough only in the daytime, euphoria, relief by lying down, ammunition by eating, okay. And so this is all about. And the complementary medicine I told, alumina and china, this medicine must be considered. So whenever ferram is to be given, if there is a 100% result is not occur, we can think of the alumina as also the china. It antidotes medicine antidotes by arsenic, china, hypersulfur, ipecac and pulsatilla. It antidotes arsenic, china, iodium, mercury, hydrophobia, hydrocyanoticum. General market is in cold aggravation. The prover is, that is the Dr. Honeyman. Okay, thank you, all the best, God bless you. This is all about the ferramate, and to some extent I have given the comparison with other drugs. Bye.